Welcome to Keys to Success. On this show, we will motivate, educate, and entertain you. Now here's your host, Mr. Kirk Clarke. Good evening and welcome to Keys to Success. This is the first show we're going to launch on NCN. I want to thank you for tuning in. Now, tonight, this show is, we're going to say it's a half hour, but it's packed with a lot of educational tools that's going to help you grow yourself and your business if you have any. Or if you're thinking about launching into a business, the person here with me can be able to give you that advice on how you can do that best. But just before we go any further into the program, I would like to leave you, first and foremost, start us off with a thought of the week. And the thought comes from a book that I'm reading, John Maxwell, the 101 series. And it says, your attitude will determine your success or failures. I'll repeat that. Thought of the week. Your attitude will determine your success or failures. More when we come back right after this.
Come shop at us now. 5 George Street, fresh page with the best consummate. At affordable prices, they could have never beat a friendly staff to serve you. Come and you'll see it. Come shop at Rosignal, right on George Street. Fresh bread, fresh pastry, the best consummate. At affordable prices, they could have never beat a friendly staff to serve you. Come and you'll see it.
7374 Church Street between Cummins and Light Streets, or call 223-0004 Rosignal. We meet your needs.
Fast graphics, one of the best, I'm saying the best commercial services you can find in Guyana. If you'd like anything based on printing, here are the numbers. You can call anytime, feel free. And of course you can speak to Orlando. For the cell number calling directly to Orlando is 622-7113. Millennium Manor Hotel. It's the #1 spot in Georgetown. I'm talking for the professional service, in and out. Millennium Manor. For those of us who are trainers and looking for the venue to host your training, Millennium Manor is the place to be. You have that executive person coming into the country need a place to stay. Stop at Millennium Manor, Hatfield Street Lodge.
Confidential has the best firm.
231-8600, 231-8601, 231-4000, 231-4001. We are available 24 hours a day, and our base is at 25 Ernica Knott Road. Confidential cabs, 231-4000, 231-8601, 231-4001, 231-8600. There's only one taxi service that you can depend on, and that is only Confidential Cabs.
Carla here yet?
Does it look like she's here?
Oh, good. She can't get on me for being late. So is there going to be lunch at this thing?
It's 9:30.
Brunch then?
So what is this meeting all about, anyway?
It's something about ethics training.
Oh, that sounds like fun.
You know, I read that ethics doesn't even really have a working definition. It's all created by the media.
That's not even close to being true.
Hey, you know how they serve breakfast for dinner? How come they don't do dinner for breakfast?
Hey everyone, ready to get started?
I think we should have Chinese food.
Yeah. Look, Carla, we've talked it over, and we think this whole ethics training thing is a big waste of time.
Yeah, well, we're pretty much on point with everything.
Really? On point. What about expense reporting?
Mercedes, you turned in a receipt for a place called Salon Rouge.
I had a lunch meeting with a client on a bad hair day.
How bad was your hair?
Like 80s metal band? Bad.
Yeah, that works.
What about ethical use of social media?
So you think that last little bit there is too much?
Does legal know you have?
Well, what legal doesn't know won't hurt him. You can't prove anything.
What about conflicts of interest? We've been shopping for distributors who won't charge us too much. Funds are, well, bad. Why?
My cousin is really high up in distribution. Man, if I could strike a major purchasing deal with the family's golden child, I promise I can get us a really good deal.
And that's just the tip of what we'll cover. There's antitrust, bribes and kickbacks, disclosing confidential information, conflicts of interest, dealing with expense reports, providing gifts and entertainment, harassment, insider trading, falsifying company documents, misuse of company assets, records and information management, responsible communication, retaliation and speaking up, safety, revenue recognition of sales, social media, and third-party risk. Sounds fun, right? Shall we?
Very interesting. Very, very interesting. Well, tonight, just before, I'm excited about this show, and I'll tell you why. Because this person, he has a wealth of knowledge and experience to share with us. Is somebody that I personally respect. I never told him this, but he's one of my mentors. I met him several years ago, probably around 2011, somewhere there about, or 12. I met him all the way in Riverton. I went there to do a business presentation. I rented one of his places to do the presentation, and since then I realized that he's a very astute business person. I know he's very knowledgeable about his business, and he rose businesses from one level to the next, and now he's at another plateau in business. He's also a trainer. Now, the aim of this show, or the game, or if you want to, because I spoke to somebody and he said to me today, "Hey Clarke, what's the game of the show now?" Well, the game of the show is this. This show is geared to actually help you, the business person, and the business people, and individuals alike that want to grow to a next level, that want to lift your standards, raise the bar, get the right people to come in and help you raise your business. There isn't a business that's existing on planet Earth that does not need training. Most of the things, for example, in Guyana, we walk around, the one thing in common that most businesses have, I can't say all, because I wouldn't be able to walk the street. So 90% of the businesses need customer service training, need basic business ethics training, need professional standards of lifting it. And of course, none better to do that than my guest tonight. And I'd like to introduce you to, of course, Vishnu Doerga. Mr. Doerga, welcome to Keys to Success. Thanks for coming out.
Thank you very much, Kirk. A pleasure being here.
All right, it's an honor again. But let's start off a little softer before we get into the hardcore of Vishnu doing things. Tell us a little bit about yourself, where you hail, from a little background research. Who are you?
Well, I am a human being.
Thank God for that.
Yes. And I was born in Suriname. I came to Guyana at a very young age, having Guyanese heritage as well, both my father and my grandmom. Then continued with my education here in Guyana. Very quickly realized after I graduated that in the world of work there was so much that I had expected. When you just fresh off the graduation benches and you think the world of work is this amazing place where everything is very organized. I very quickly was very disappointed with the standards and the service levels that existed. So disappointed that at the age of 19, I started my own company. And there was no looking back after that. Everything that I believed I really wanted in my company, everything that I knew would have set me apart from the competition, I ensured and I strived for to put that in place, which included training for both myself and my team. And that has really allowed us to progress very fast along the way.
Interesting. All right, can I just fast forward this a little bit? Tell me some of the businesses you've been able to, under your belt. I know of one when I met you in Berbice. So tell me a little bit about that transition from 19 years old into who you are today. What made that change?
Well, having studied engineering, I quickly realized that in the rural areas of Guyana, many products weren't easily accessible back then, which is now 17 years ago. There were a few major distributors of products. I was able then to acquire some vehicles, and at that point in time, I also realized that with CARICOM, many of the imports into Guyana from fellow CARICOM countries would have been duty-free. I then started importing out of Suriname as well, and was able to operate my fleet. So my fleet management was far more efficient than many of my competitors, which means my vehicles were on the road far more frequently that day were bringing down my costs significantly, coupled with selecting really good products that met the needs of my customers. So that really developed the distribution company. From there, we further expanded into health and beauty and into cleaning as well. After that, I probably one of the forward integration movements that we took part in was the setting up of a beauty salon, where we went within a 3-month period from having 0% of the market to almost 50%.
Wow.
And this is a guy who shaves his head clean.
Because I'm not worrying now, we're talking about beauty here.
Yeah, leading in that particular industry. So having a lot of fun. I was able to walk away from it at a very early age as well. Because we were talking a bit earlier before the program as well, what is contentment, what is happiness? And, happiness for me is when what you think, what you say, and what you do are in tandem. So having built a team that could have really been able to take over, it became easy for me to start focusing on my own education. I was then out of school for almost 10 years. And I realized that there's still so much more that is out there for me to learn. I realized how much I don't know, and that is sometimes the biggest realization any human being can get. Because a lot of the time we're in the I know space where we believe we know it all, and then when you look around what happens every single day and you listen to people, it is that I know attitude coming out. I realized very early, there's so much I don't know, and by doing so it makes you open to all the knowledge that is out there, and with knowledge come opportunities. They go hand in hand. Without knowledge, you don't even have the power to take care of these opportunities that come your way. And it then allowed me to grow further. My wife and my daughter were very close to me. We've spent a long time in Barbados, where I met you back then. And we also decided that education is extremely important. And at that point in time, we decided Georgetown is a better place. Around that same time, I came in contact with Action Coach. I was looking, what's the next step? But I realized that would be very tough to do in Barbados as well. So in just 3.5 years ago, we decided to move down to town. And then the timing became just about right for me to jump into my next chapter, which is bringing Action Coach to Guyana and the many services that they offer.
Good. But we're going to get in a little bit about Action Coach. But I've dealt with a lot of people, and one of the things, I've had about 3 or 4 persons ask me this question across the board. They asked me, Kirk, will you be dealing with planning on the show? And yes, goal setting, planning. So I want to be presumptuous to ask you, for your dreams and goals for 2016, first and foremost, were they achieved? And if you could give us a little bit breakdown of some of those goals.
Still waiting for one of the performance evaluations from my wife, because one of my biggest goals was to be a better husband. So I need to go get the.
How is that coming?
I need to get the report.
All right.
But besides that, it was really Action Coach is now in its 2nd year. November would have been the 2nd year, and to really within that year, which is 2016, to ensure that the market becomes very aware of what we do, to make sure that we allow our clients to achieve the level of growth that they seek, and I know that we have been able to do that. Every single client, we continuously monitor how have you progressed, and it's not only money. Some people are looking for more time for themselves, more time to spend with their family, a better team that functions well, clarity of where they're heading. So growth means different things for different people, and whatever it is, we'll measure, are we actually heading in that direction? And those were my biggest goals, to determine, is Guyana ready for Action Coach? Is Guyana ready for the training? I know back then as well, and I know that you're also very passionate about training, and I know that we as trainers know that everybody needs this. We know how much more their life will improve if they just access what we have. But it's tough to sometimes get through to people who haven't yet tasted this. And 2016 would have been the year for me to determine, is this worth or my time, my energy? We have a lot of colleague trainers as well. We see the good work they put out as well. How do we make sure people start getting the message? Without adding more skills, more value to their self, there is no added income. There is no, no more time for yourself. And I think that when it comes to that particular goal, we have made significant progress.
All right, so let me put this in as a presumption. If you see, let's say well, this is a company. I know you have several companies which you go in and you do training. We can get into that in a couple of minutes. A company has their mandate, their vision, their mission. They've got staff and we need training. Now, you're coming into a company. How do you or evaluate which areas are more necessary to start with and which areas are necessary to probably just leave alone for now? How do you make that sort of a decision, if you can?
Well, the usual way in which we get started is that either the owners or the CEOs would usually come to meet me first. We'll have a meeting to determine what the biggest frustrations are and where they really want to go. A lot of the time, the biggest thing I get is, my staff can't perform, my staff this, my staff that, I have the worst staff in the world, Guyana doesn't have good staff. And then I have to ask them, so who hired them again? So did they just come and hire themselves? For them to realize that, they have a big part to play in the people who they attract.
Correct.
It's something that you always say. You always attract the people you deserve. And until you grow, you wouldn't deserve any better people. So it's something that you have to quickly realize. But when we go into the companies, and a small proportion of these companies actually have defined visions and missions, but we have a simple way of testing it. I would look for wherever the vision is against the wall. I go stand about 3 or 4 feet away from that wall, and I wait until an employee crosses my path. And the employee is then facing me with a vision behind him, and I ask this employee, what is the vision of this company? Where is it going? I haven't met, I think, in maybe 2 companies, I've had the employee actually recite the vision that they couldn't see because they're facing me correctly. But in the majority of the cases, they make up something. Sometimes it even sounds better than what I see behind them on the wall, which means that they have their heart in it. They really do want the company to move forward. In many cases, I don't know what we're doing here. I don't know, the boss making money or something like that, versus really understanding that the company is there to serve a particular segment. We do it in this particular way, and we bring value to the market by really satisfying the needs of our customers. And it's a conversation, and a lot of times we discount the views of those who are at the front lines of our companies, and in favor of those who are supposedly really high up, where a lot of the solutions that really move companies forward lie on the front lines. They meet your customers on a daily basis, they meet your suppliers on a daily basis, they know exactly what needs to happen within the company. And if you don't create that flow of communication throughout the company, added with the skills that allow them to express themselves better, to allow for more critical thinking, to behave in an ethical manner, then we're just setting people up for constant failure, and people move from job to job being extremely unhappy. And I think that's a waste of effort, a waste of time.
Just before we go for another break, on a nutshell, tell us a little bit what Action Coach is all about.
Well, Action Coach was started in 1993 by Brad Sugars, an Australian entrepreneur. He, at a very young age as well, started his own companies and was extremely successful, so successful that he was able to retire from that, and then he started training in his methods. My MBA is also Australian, and I think there's a reason why I like that system. Australians are known around the world for having fun, which means that they need businesses that generate income that allow them to have the fun that they want to have in life. It's not the American way. The American way is you grind. You're a human battery, a human Duracell. You wake up, you work the entire day, you rest, you wake up. Australians, not like that. Google it and look at the lifestyle. They want to have fun, which means that when they do get engaged in businesses, they make sure that these businesses generate the means that allow them to live the life they want to live. So we're now in 70 countries. Guyana was country number 57 when we opened 2 years ago. 1,200 coaches around the world, coaching almost 50,000 businesses around the world weekly. And what it allows me to do, and I think, I hope my wife isn't watching, but she thought I was doing Action Coach just so I can go to the conferences. That I'm an education junkie.
Right.
So to be in a room with people like Marshall Goldsmith, with the people from Franklin Covey, the biggest speakers in the world, getting education directly from them sitting 3 feet, 5 feet away from you, and getting that education, that's like my dream come true. I told her the first time I walked into the Action Coach and with 1,000 other people, with coaches, clients, and these speakers, it felt like I arrived. I found my tribe finally, and I love doing that. And not only that, my clients have gone along with me to conferences in the U.S. as well. And when they come back, the energy and the ideas that they come back with, it's amazing. You practically can't help but grow.
Well, of course, so much more when we return right after this break.
Come shop at Rosignol, right on George Street. Fresh bread, fresh pastries, the best cut summit. At affordable prices, they could never beat. A friendly staff to serve you. Come and you'll see it. Come shop at Rosignol, right on George Street. Fresh bread, fresh pastries, the best cut summit. At affordable prices, they could never beat. A friendly staff to serve you. Come and you'll see it.
7374 Church Street between Cummins and Light Streets, or call 223-0004 Rosignol. We meet your needs.
We welcome you again to Fast Graphics, one of the best companies right now in Guyana that produce the biggest and the fastest graphics and designs that you need. Large format digital printing. Of course, what we do, we use the Roland printers. The Roland printers right there at Fast Graphics. So if you need, just call 622-7113.
Confidential Hands, the best firm.
231-8600, 231-8601, 231-4000, 231-4001. We are available 24 hours a day, and our base is at 25 Ernica North Road. Confidential cabs, 231-4000, 231-8601, 231-4001, 231-8600. There's only one taxi service that you can depend on, and that is only Confidential Cabs.
Call Millennium Manor today, Millennium Manor Hotel. And of course, this is the hotel right in Georgetown. It's in Hatfield and Cam Street. One of the most classiest places you can use, especially for weddings, birthdays, parties, and conferences, with the projector setup and everything. Beautiful atmosphere. If you have professional people coming in as well, they have standard rooms, double rooms, and of course, supreme rooms. Millennium Manor, Hatfield and Cam Streets. And just before we come back into the program, we go to a slight video. And now this video, it's about Rocky Balboa. Take a look at this before we come back to the studio.
Yo, Robert, what's going on? Where have you been? You're late. No, I don't want to hear this. Look, your job performance is nowhere near good enough to be pulling this. I don't give a damn who your father is. You understand me? Yeah. All right. All right. Now get out of here. Okay.
Thank you, sir. So you nervous about the fight?
They're scared to death.
You don't look scared?
Well, you ain't supposed to.
Then you don't have to do it.
Yeah, well, I think I do.
You know, living with you, it hasn't been easy. People see me, but they think of you. Now with all this going on, this is gonna be worse than ever.
It don't have to be.
No, sure it does.
Why? You got a lot going on, kid.
What, my last name? That's the reason I got a decent job. That's the reason why people deal with me in the first place. Now I start to get a little ahead. I start to get a little something for myself, and this happens. Now I'm asking you as a favor not to go through with this, okay? This is only gonna end up bad for you, and it's gonna end up bad for me.
You think I'm hurting you?
Yeah, in a way you are.
That's the last thing I ever wanted to do.
I know that's not what you want to do, but that's just the way that it is. Don't you care what people think? Doesn't it bother you that people are making you out to be a joke and that I'm going to be included in that? Do you think that's right? Do you?
You ain't gonna believe this. Well, you used to fit right here. I'd hold you up and say to your mother, this kid's gonna be the best kid in the world. This kid's gonna be somebody better than anybody ever knew. and you grew up good and wonderful. It was great just watching you every day. It was like a privilege. Then the time come for you to be your own man and take on the world, and you did. But somewhere along the line, you changed. You stopped being you. You let people stick a finger in your face and tell you you're no good. And when things got hard, you started looking for something to blame, like a big shadow. Let me tell you something you already know. The world ain't all sunshine and rainbows. It's a very mean and nasty place, and I don't care how tough you are, it will beat you to your knees and keep you there permanently if you let it. You, me, or nobody is gonna hit as hard as life. But it ain't about how hard you hit. It's about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward. How much you can take and keep moving forward. That's how winning is done. Now, if you know what you're worth, now go out and get what you're worth. But you gotta be willing to take the hits and not pointing fingers saying you ain't where you wanna be because of him or her or anybody. Cowards do that, and that ain't you. You're better than that. I'm always gonna love you no matter what. No matter what happens. You're my son, you're my blood. You're the best thing in my life.
That was one of my biggest motivational videos, but of course, we're almost out of time. So let's wrap this in. And I just got about a couple of questions to ask you. Let's very quickly, tell me about the name Action Coach. Where it arrived from? You have an idea?
Well, definitely the intention was to coach, and in coaching, unlike consulting, in consulting you tell people what to do. You're the judge and you're almighty and you versus in coaching it's all about asking questions and leading people to the answer, which is a lot of the time in their head. And when people are able to arrive at that answer in their mind, it's easier for them to own it, and then not only own it but act on it. This is where action comes in. Because we can have a lot of thoughts. Rocky just put a lot of thoughts in our mind. But if we keep these thoughts, they can inspire us, but only action will move us forward. Therefore, the name Action Coach.
Action Coach. All right, just for the sake of time, I'm sorry to rush you with this. Some of your target audiences, who are the people you're looking at and for to help your business?
Yeah, the very basic criteria are people who are committed to their own success. We have a lot of people who are constantly blaming, making excuses, and in denial. We're not ready for those type of people. What we need, and I've heard about people who are sometimes intimidated by trainers like ourselves. Our clients have ranged from people who haven't completed CXE, have ranged from people who are just technically trained, and have ranged from people who hold MBAs and doctorates. So it really doesn't matter. What we train people in are the very practical skills that immediately get results once applied. So if you're ready to move forward, that's the biggest criteria.
Because we were talking earlier just before the show, and in a brief overview, you do something once a week or once a month on a training on a Thursdays.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about that very quickly and where your locations are.
Yeah. We are located at 122 Parade Street, opposite the Theater Guild. While our main focus is on business coaching, what we've also realized is that many companies don't have training officers in-house. They don't have any type of training done in-house. And whilst the owner or the CEO can go back and transfer knowledge, they're not professional trainers. So what we have now created is that on every Thursday we have a range of programs. It ranges from about 6 months, but every Thursday we deal with a different topic area. Thursdays 1 to 4. Customer service is actually one of our very popular modules as well, where we train the team so that when people go back to their companies, not only the owners, top management speak the same language as everybody else in the company, and it makes for faster progress.
So how do you evaluate these trainings? Do you have an after evaluation?
We always do an evaluation just after the training, but then also what we do, and every participant who goes through our training knows this, you will be called a week after, where we will find out, well, what did you exactly do, what worked, what did not work. We further advise them. And these reports then go to the HR manager of the company as well, so that the company is also aware of what did my people learn and what are they expected to be able to do now. And how can I look out for these results? Because many people, we hire people, we put them in a position, and we forget about them. We need to know, well, these people they're in our company to deliver a particular result, and we need to measure those results so we can help these people grow.
Great. Thank you so much. Thank you. And of course, in wrapping the show up, I just want to leave you with the same, remember the thought of the week. Your attitude will determine your success or failure. Thank you so much for joining us. But just before I go, I just want to leave you with this word, ACT, ACT. ACT, ACT. What does it mean as an acronym? Achieve, change, and teach. Let's all strive for that. This is Kirk Clarke saying thanks for joining us. See you next week, same place, same time. Bye-bye.
Come shop at Rosignol, right on George Street. Fresh bread, fresh pastry, the best cuts on it. At affordable prices, they could never beat a friendly staff to serve you. Come and you'll see it. Come shop at Rosignol, right on George Street. Fresh bread, fresh pastry, the best cuts on it. At affordable prices, they could never beat a friendly staff to serve you. Come and you'll see it.
7374 Church Street between Cummins and Light Streets, or call 223-0004 Rosignol. We meet your needs.
Confidential Hands, the best firm.
231-8600, 231-8601, 231-4000, 231-4001. We are available 24 hours a day, and our base is at 25 Ernica Knott Road. Confidential cabs, 231-4000, 231-8601, 231-4001, 231-8600. There's only one taxi service that you can depend on, and that is only Confidential Cabs.